David, from shepherd to king, a story told through the lens of an African. Welcome to our story, where we journey back in time through an African lens to meet a young shepherd boy named David. Living in the rolling hills of Bethlehem, David was the youngest of 8 brothers. He spent his days caring for his father's sheep, singing songs, and playing his harp. One day, something extraordinary happened. The prophet Samuel, guided by God, came to Bethlehem looking for the next king of Israel. Imagine the surprise when God chose David, the youngest and smallest, to be anointed as king. Samuel poured oil over David's head, marking the beginning of his incredible journey. Not long after, the Israelites found themselves at war with the Philistines. A giant named Goliath terrified the Israelite army, challenging anyone to fight him. While others cowered in fear, young David, armed with just a sling and 5 smooth stones, stepped forward to face the giant. With a quick and skillful swing of his sling, David launched a stone that struck Goliath right in the forehead. The giant fell to the ground with a mighty crash, and the Philistines fled in terror. David, the shepherd boy, became a hero. David's fame grew quickly. But King Saul, who had once welcomed David into his court, became increasingly jealous. The people sang praises of David's victories, and Saul's heart filled with envy. Saul's jealousy grew so strong that he began to plot against David. David was forced to flee for his life. He became a fugitive, living in caves and hiding in the wilderness. But even in these tough times, David remained faithful to God, refusing to harm Saul even when he had the chance. During this difficult time, David formed a deep friendship with Jonathan, Saul's son. Jonathan loved David as a brother and protected him from Saul's wrath. Their friendship was a beacon of light in David's dark days. After many years of trials, King Saul died in battle, and David was finally anointed king over Israel. He ruled with wisdom and fairness, always seeking God's guidance. David transformed from a humble shepherd boy to a revered king. One of David's most joyful moments as king was bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. He danced before the Lord with all his might, showing his deep love and devotion to God. The whole city celebrated with him. David's reign was not without its challenges, but his heart was always turned toward God. He wrote many of the Psalms we read today, pouring out his soul in praise, worship, and repentance. David's legacy as a man after God's own heart continues to inspire us. And so, David's story, seen through an African lens, reminds us that no matter where we start, with faith and courage, we can achieve great things. From a shepherd boy to a king, David's journey shows us the power of trusting in God's plan. David's story is one of the most inspiring in the Bible and is told across the books of 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, and the Psalms. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you learned a thing or two from David's journey. But this is just the beginning, there's so much more to explore. If you're curious to uncover more rich stories from the Bible, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. But before I go, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these questions. Feel free to share your answers in the comments below.